The Justice Department has finally released some of the highly anticipated Epstein files. More than 300,000 pages of documents related to the late convicted offender were made public today. They include photos, flight logs, grand jury testimony, and a lot of heavy.
We've all seen the fall of a public figure before, but what's unfolding with Steve Harvey isn't just a stumble. It's a full-blown eraser happening in real time with the kind of speed that suggests someone somewhere hit the panic button. 1 week ago, Harvey was still the affable king of daytime, the man who turned family advice into a brand and moralizing into a paycheck. Today, his social media accounts are scrubbed. His upcoming projects are frozen mid-production, and his team is in what insiders describe as total lockdown mode. This isn't damage control, it's a digital disappearance. And the reason, we're learning, it's tied to something far bigger than a misplaced joke or a bad interview, something he was never supposed to let slip, something buried in the files of Jeffrey Epstein. No, but we have a congressional act now to requiring the release. But they're going to say, you know what? Subject to redaction. It's unfair that he was mentioned. Subject to redaction, subject to reduction. And we all know what that means. That's to protect. That's why I'm saying you will never be satisfied with what's released. The first sign that this wasn't business as usual came when Harvey's long-running talk show abruptly announced a hiatus with no return date. No farewell episode, no heartfelt goodbye, just a corporate statement about reassessing priorities. Then came the leaks, not from tabloids but from inside his own circle. Investors, we've heard, are furious. Not because of what Harvey did, but because of what he knows and what he allegedly let out. The files in question aren't just damaging. They're the kind of documents that powerful people have spent years and millions keeping under lock and key. Harvey's name isn't just mentioned in them. According to sources familiar with the investigation, it's linked to flight logs, private communications, and timestamps that place him in Epstein's orbit during the most incriminating years. And now those files are in the wrong hands. Let's be clear, this isn't about a single photo or a questionable association. The Justice Department's recent release of Epstein-related documents included a 1996 FBI complaint describing how Epstein stole private images of underage individuals and threatened to burn down a complainant's home if she spoke out. The name of the complainant was redacted, but legal experts have connected the details to Maria Farmer, one of Epstein's earliest accusers. What hasn't been redacted? The pattern, the dates. The way these records don't just implicate Epstein, they map out a network. And Harvey's name appears in that network not as a bystander, but as someone who, according to flight manifests from 2006, was present during periods when Epstein's operations were at their most active. There are photos, too, like the one from 2004, showing Harvey with Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate, at an event where other high-profile figures were also documented. The context, that's what the investors are scrambling to suppress. As we've seen dozens of new photos we haven't seen before of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell with very high-profile people, celebrities, people like MC Jagger and Michael Jackson like you showed, also like British royalty and actors. All of that we sort of knew was happening. I want to highlight specifically two for the public interest, and that is President Clinton and what makes this different from every other celebrity scandal is the reaction of the people who actually control Harvey's career. We're not talking about outraged fans or boycott campaigns. We're talking about backers who, until last week, were happy to profit off his family values persona. Now, those same backers are reportedly demanding emergency meetings, auditing his companies, and according to two industry sources, exploring legal options to distance themselves before the next wave of files drops. Why the sudden urgency? Because Harvey isn't just a liability, he's a loose end. The files he's connected to don't just involve Epstein. They allegedly reference other influential figures, people who, unlike Harvey, still have the power to bury the story. And if Harvey's leaks are as extensive as insiders claim, those figures are now racing to contain the fallout before their own names surface. So they in that generation. And I asked him, what is it? And they said, Dad, you clickbait. He said, you clickbait. He said, "You one of the most viral people in your age group out there." He said, "Dad, every clip on Family Feud got you on it." Yeah, you clickbait. If they can take your face and put it on anything, you become clickbait. He's saying that's what it is. You know, here's where the hypocrisy cuts deepest. For years, Harvey built his empire on judging others. His advice segments, his relationship sermons, his entire public identity revolved around moral absolutes. What's right, what's wrong, how to live with integrity. Yet the timeline we're piecing together tells a different story. In 2004, he's photographed with Maxwell. In 2006, his name appears on flight logs during the height of Epstein's trafficking operation. In 2014, texts suggest ongoing contact, and all the while, he's on camera lecturing audiences about fidelity and respect. The cognitive dissonance isn't just staggering. It's the kind of betrayal that turns casual viewers into angry critics overnight. But the real question isn't about Harvey's past. It's about his present. Because the files he's tied to aren't just historical records, they're active legal landmines, and the people who own those mines are not known for their mercy on clicks and views. The universe does not differentiate, it just gives you clicks and views. So now here they come the rest of them, and now you got clicks and views. MHM. My question to that, though, is what's happening right now isn't a cancellation. It's a corporate execution. Harvey's investors aren't just cutting ties, they're erasing him. Projects are being shelved, partnerships dissolved, and his name is being scrubbed from promotional materials with a speed that suggests legal exposure, not just PR concerns. The whisper among industry insiders. This isn't about what Harvey did. It's about what he saw and who he might have been protecting. The files in question don't just document Epstein's activities. They allegedly include references to other powerful individuals. People who, unlike Harvey, still have the resources to make problems disappear. If Harvey's leaks are as comprehensive as some claim, then his downfall isn't just personal. It's a sacrifice. A necessary loss to keep bigger names out of the crosshairs. But here's the twist that should make everyone pause. Harvey didn't stumble into this. According to sources close to the situation, he leaked something not by accident but deliberately. The question is why? Was it a miscalculation, a moment of conscience, or was it something far more calculated, an attempt to negotiate his own safety by offering up others? The timing is suspicious. The files started surfacing just as Harvey's financial backers were reportedly pressuring him over unrelated legal matters, including lingering questions about his wife Marjorie's past associations with individuals tied to substance distribution networks in the 1990s. Coincidence or leverage? Because if Harvey had something to trade, something big enough to make powerful people nervous, then his sudden silence starts to look less like shame and more like strategy. I say that Steve Harr was in a perfect position to help me get Clement. I wouldn't had to go through what I went through, but God's hand. And then there's the matter of who actually released the files tying Harvey to Epstein. The Justice Department's rollout has been chaotic with heavy redactions and delayed disclosures sparking bipartisan outrage. But the documents that have emerged, like the 2006 flight logs and the 2014 communications, paint a picture of Harvey as more than a peripheral figure. He's in the records during key moments, and the people who control those records are not the type to tolerate loose ends. So, was this a controlled burn? A way to neutralize Harvey before he could share more? Or is there someone inside his own circle who made sure these connections saw the light of day? Because if Harvey's downfall was orchestrated, the next question is simple. Who benefits? The financial dominoes are already falling. Harvey's production company, East 112th Street Productions, has reportedly seen multiple projects put on indefinite hold with networks citing contractual concerns as the reason. His endorsement deals, once a cornerstone of his income, are being quietly terminated, and his legal team, usually quick to issue denials, has gone radio silent. That's not the behavior of a man preparing to fight back. It's the behavior of someone who knows the fight is already over. The only question left is how far the collateral damage will spread. Because if Harvey's files implicate others, and all signs suggest they do, then his silence might be the only thing keeping those names out of the headlines. For now, he took my Winton from me. He turned my son against me. But here's what we can't ignore. Harvey's past is littered with scandals that at the time seemed like isolated missteps. The 2015 Miss Universe debacle, where he crowned the wrong winner, live on air. The 2017 meeting with Donald Trump that sparked backlash among his predominantly black audience. The 2019 comments about the Flint water crisis that many saw as tone-deaf and dismissive. Each time he wed.